everybody, in today's video I'm not going to be talking about anything necessarily polish related. I just want to do a little bit of like a channel update, life update kind of thing. So I've mentioned in a couple of videos I will be having surgery. I just wanted to let you guys know that I might be a little bit MIA for a bit. I'm hoping to pre-record some videos and edit them while I am in recovery from my surgery and get them up. If I have time. If I don't, I don't. And I am hoping to get back into video making so I can talk about my top polishes of the year, but we'll see how it all goes. So several of you I'm sure have been here with me for a while and like know about my health issues in the past. I'll link that video in the description box down below in case you guys are new and you're interested in health stuff. I talk about this stuff because I mentioned in that video I was diagnosed with endometriosis during a hysterectomy. And since I had made that video, like several of you have reached out to me with questions about endometriosis. Some of you have been diagnosed and like didn't know what to expect. Some of you were going in for surgeries and just like wanted to chit chat about surgery. Some of you just chat with me about like the frustrations and the pain and all that stuff. And so I just thought I would share more of what's going on with me because I guess like I just feel if I can help somebody, then, you know, like pain and suffering isn't lost, you know, like it's not for nothing. And so if you guys are interested in hanging out and listening, you know, feel free to. If you don't care to hear about any of it, I understand that as well. And so I will be having surgery on December 15th. I'm going to be having a bowel resection and another endometriosis excision surgery, and possibly removal of at least one of my ovaries. So in 2020, I had a hysterectomy for several large fibroids, an enlarged uterus, and a possible cancer scare. During that hysterectomy, it was discovered that I had stage 4 endometriosis. That was a shock because that had literally never been mentioned to me by a doctor before. So I had never heard of endometriosis. I had to do a lot of research. Basically, something similar to the lining of your uterus starts growing outside of your uterus. 1 in 10 women have endometriosis. It is an incurable disease. It is similar to like an autoimmune disease. You get a lot of inflammation, you get a lot of fatigue. The only way to really treat endometriosis is through excision surgeries. They offer different types of hormone treatments to try and like suppress symptoms. But basically it's just kind of trying to figure out what works best for you so that you can live your life. There's several women that I know that are no longer able to work from endometriosis. It can cause infertility. It can cause extreme debilitating pain, painful periods. It can also cause problems with your other organs because it can spread throughout the body. So during my first surgery, my uterus was stuck to my bladder with endometriosis. My uterus was stuck to the side of my abdominal wall with endometriosis. My whole outside of my uterus was covered in endometriosis, and the doctor was not fully able to remove all of my endometriosis during the surgery. She was an oncologist, and she basically told me that I had the worst case of endometriosis she had ever seen. And she just didn't feel comfortable trying to remove some parts because of where they were in the body, and she didn't feel qualified to do that type of surgery. So after my, doctor appointment follow-up, it was suggested to me to do a colonoscopy and to possibly go on medication to put me into like a medical menopause. So I had a pretty easy recovery for the first like 2 to 3 weeks. And then around there, I just felt like I hit a wall. And I got really frustrated because I was just like, I don't feel like I'm getting better. I'm tired. I was getting dizzy. I was getting like low-grade fevers. So they sent me in to check my blood work. Nothing ever came back. And, my doctor just kept saying, be patient, because he knows like I am usually full of energy. I like to move around. I like to work out. I like to just do stuff. I'm not a sitting person. And I went back to work at 6 weeks. And then the seventh week, I thought I had gotten COVID. Someone at work had COVID. I got a really, really high fever. So I was like, oh my gosh, I probably got COVID from him. But that was the only symptom I had. I like never got a cough or a cold. Then my stomach swelled up. I literally looked like I was 99 months pregnant with twins. I lost my appetite. I was getting like horrible upper back cramps. And so my doctor was like, well, it could still be COVID. And I was like, yeah, I don't think so. But he was like, take a COVID test. And then if it's negative, come in and we'll check you out. So then the next day I ended up passing a humongous blood clot. Like, I'm not even lying. It was about that big. I literally almost fainted when I went to the bathroom and I saw that, because my surgery had been so long. I was like, where did that come from? Everything should be healed up, or, starting to heal up, or pretty close to healed up. And so I ended up doing a CT scan, and it was found that I was growing abscess in my stomach. The abscess was the size of a lemon, and so I had to be admitted to the hospital. And I was very, very sick. I've never been that sick in my life. I was in the hospital for 7 days on like tons of antibiotics. I ended up coming home with tons of antibiotics to take as well. But eventually that did clear up. But by the time that cleared up, like, my doctor was suggesting a colonoscopy, and I was literally like, dude, I almost just died. Like, I've had 3 CT scans in the last month. I literally look like a pincushion. I have horrible veins. Like, they had to take my blood 3 times a day while I was in the hospital to make sure that I wasn't going septic, or getting sepsis, whatever they call it. So I was literally like bruised all over my arms. I was bruised all over my hands. They were starting to draw blood like out of here on my arms. Like, usually they'll get you here. They'll kind of get your hand. They were drawing blood out of like different parts of my arms, and they were all bruised. And I was just like, I just want to be normal for a while. Like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to go to the hospital. I don't want to do anything. I just want to feel normal for a while. And he was like, I understand. At that time, my grandma was also dying of cancer, and I was just like, I want to, focus on my grandma, and I don't want to be a sick person right now. And so he was like, okay, it's your decision. And so I didn't go into the medically induced menopause either. I've read a lot of horrible things about those medications, and I just decided like I did not want to do that. So fast forward to the beginning of this year, I started getting a really severe pain on my left side. And so I kept my ovaries during my hysterectomy, so I would still ovulate. So during my ovulation, I was still getting extreme cramps. I would have to take like super strong ibuprofens, pretty much like clockwork, for 2 days. So my doctor was like, well, let's get on birth control, and then you can just take it continuously and you don't have to ovulate. So I was like, all right, that sounds good. That actually worked out really, really well for me. I was able to kind of like not take so much pain medication. I wasn't debilitated by the cramps, even if it was 2 days a month. And so I was like, okay, I'll go that route. Well, then so I noticed like a big decrease in pain, but then that pain on the side just kind of kept getting worse and worse. So I went to the doctor, and I was just like, that was the same side. Also, I had the abscess. So I was kind of scared, like maybe the abscess is growing back. I didn't know if that was possible. So I went in, he sent me for an MRI. And during the MRI, they were able to see what they suspected to be endometriosis on my colon. So endometriosis can only positively be diagnosed by a laparoscopic surgery. It doesn't always show up on MRIs. It does not always show up on like ultrasounds and things like that. So a lot of people go a really long time before they get diagnosed. And so since I had a history of it and a very severe case of it, they were pretty much like, we're pretty sure this is endometriosis. And then one of my ovaries is stuck to my colon as well right now. And then, like where they sew you up on the top for your hysterectomy is called a cuff. There's several spots of what they assume to be endometriosis attached to my cuff. My bladder shows some thickening on my MRI. They think that could be from endometriosis as well. And so, during the colonoscopy, I finally did that earlier this year as well. There was a mass in my colon. So that was biopsied. It was determined to be endometriosis. And during my colonoscopy, my colon was tattooed. So I have another tattoo for free. You know how expensive tattoos are? This one was for free. Um, so they mark your colon just so they know where to operate on it when they go back in. Because I guess you have like 6 feet of colon, is what the doctor told me. So they want to know like exactly where they're gonna operate. That way they don't have to like search through your colon again. So all the doctors at the hospital, all the doctors that operated on me before were just like, we don't feel comfortable operating on this again. And I agreed because I was like, they couldn't get everything last time and it seems like it's progressed. So I doubt they're going to be able to do anything, that great this time. There's another big hospital here in New Mexico. So it sucks living in a small state, like a rural state. We don't have like state of the art medical care. Of course, there are like 2 huge hospitals in Albuquerque, which is the biggest city in New Mexico, Presbyterian and UNM. So the Presbyterian doctors did not want to touch me. Then my doctor was like, well, we could talk to UNM. So I went to a UNM specialist and I just didn't feel comfortable with what she was saying. Some of the stuff she was telling me about endometriosis went opposite to some stuff that I had researched on my own. And so I was just like, I don't like her. I don't want her to operate on me. And so my doctor started looking for endometriosis specialists outside of the state because there is none in New Mexico. So he found 2 in Arizona and 1 in Georgia. One of the Arizona ones was a pay out of pocket doctor. And I was just like, I like really value my health, but I'm not a millionaire. And then the one in Georgia, I was like, that's like a lot of trouble. So the second doctor in Arizona was at the Mayo Clinic in Scottsdale. So that's who I'm going to be seeing. I'm going to be going to Arizona, traveling to Arizona next week, actually, and going to be having surgery with a endometriosis removal specialist. And he is also a colon. So he's a gynecological oncologist, but he says that he does tons of colon surgeries due to people's cancer. And I think he's definitely the most qualified doctor I've ever talked to. So I am excited about that. I'm going to be having a bowel resection. So basically, they're going to cut the part of my bowel out that has been damaged by the endometriosis and then like fuse the 2 parts of my bowel back together. I am a little bit nervous about that because I know there is a chance for a bowel leak, which can cause severe infection. And then after having that abscess, I'm like, ugh. But the doctor pretty much told me this has to come out because it can cause an obstruction, which is deadly. They're also going to do endometrious excision surgery. So they're going to clean up all the endometriosis that's growing. They're going to look at my bladder to make sure that I do not have endometriosis inside my bladder and then do any kind of cleanup that they need to do. They're also hopefully going to remove my ovary from my colon, and hopefully that ovary will not be damaged and I'll get to keep it. So there's a few things. My doctor was suggesting the removal of my ovaries because they're kind of hoping if I go into menopause, it may stop the growth of the endometriosis. I've done my own research on that, and I really feel like going into early menopause is something I don't want to do at this time. I feel like the side effects of that are not something I want to deal with. So I don't want to do that. I don't feel like my doctor's totally happy with that choice, but it's like I have to live with the consequences. And he agreed with me. He was like, you have to live with the consequences of the choices. I don't. And so, he is going to support me in that. My surgeon also would like to put me on, if I decide to keep my ovaries, he would like to put me into a medically induced menopause. I don't want to do that either because I read up on the side effects of these medications, and they cause a lot of problems. Mostly you can get permanent like bone loss. There's a lot of mental health side effects like depression, anxiety, suicidal thoughts, things like that. I've dealt with mental health issues, and to me, I would rather be in physical pain. If I have to choose between the two, I would rather do physical pain. I feel like physical pain is easier to deal with because you take medication and usually it helps it, as opposed to mental health issues can be just really hard to treat. So that's the decisions I'm making right now. I don't, like I said, I don't think my doctor's particularly happy with them, but I'm kind of thinking like, okay, I've been on my birth control. And I really am literally feeling like the best I have felt in years, considering that I'm in pain. I'm able to leave my house every day of the month, which was not possible before my hysterectomy or being on birth control. Before I had my hysterectomy, I would probably be home 2 to 3 days a month during my period, basically feeling like I was in labor and just bleeding and bleeding and bleeding. I know that's TMI, but it is what it is. And so now, I do have pain, but I'm used to being in pain. I can take my ibuprofen, super strong. They help. Before surgery, nothing would help. And so I feel like the best I felt in years, honestly. And so I'm like, okay, if they can fix this bowel issue, because I do have a lot of stomach problems as well. I can't eat a lot of the foods I used to eat. I can't eat too much or I will get sick. I also swell up depending what I eat, and just sometimes it doesn't even matter what I eat. I'll insert a picture, but I can go from looking like my normal self to probably looking 7 months pregnant within like an hour of eating, 30 minutes of eating. There's certain foods that I feel make it worse, but sometimes I'm like, I barely even ate today, and so sometimes it's hard to wear pants like jeans and stuff. I wear a lot of leggings, in case you guys have noticed on my Instagram, because I get really really swollen and uncomfortable. And so I'm hoping that this surgery will alleviate the stomach issues once they fix this stuff in the colon. Like I'll be able to eat like normal, hopefully. I'm hoping the swelling will at least be less often if it doesn't go away completely. I'm getting a lot of fatigue, and according to what my doctor said, this stuff growing is like a foreign substance, and so your body thinks it's fighting an attacker, and that just takes energy. So I'm hoping once they get this out with the excision surgery, that hopefully having less of it in the body will help my exhaustion, and I can get back to like being a little bit more active. And so in theory, I'm like, if I feel the best I have ever felt, and then they can fix this one little piece, I can go back on my birth control and feel even better. So I don't know. That's what I'm going for. I'm nervous. I really am very nervous, just based on the complications I had last time. The pain from my hysterectomy was not horrible. I was sent home on ibuprofen and Tylenol, and so I'm like, okay, if the pain's around like that, I think I'll be okay. I know I do have to be on a liquid diet, and I believe also a low fiber diet. So I have been eating everything in literal sight for over a month. I've gained 8 pounds, but I'm like, well, YOLO, right? I might as well live it up while I can, because I know I'm going to be on dietary restrictions for a while. It's the holidays. I'm like, do your thing, girl. And so I have been doing that, and my pants feel it, and they're not happy. But I'm just like, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. And then the other thing I'm possibly planning to do. So the Mayo Clinic in Phoenix is actually in Scottsdale, and the place that I'm going to be staying at is next to a Gucci store, and I'm thinking I might buy me a Gucci purse to treat myself before surgery. Like, if you have to have part of your colon taken out, like, girl, you better treat yourself. And I've been eyeing some Gucci purses online, so I'm like, maybe I'll just go to the store, see if they have a couple that I like, try them on, take them out for a little test drive, and pick me one. YOLO. Again, you only live once. Treat yourself. So I'm thinking about doing that at like a pre-surgery treat. And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to have this Gucci purse just sitting here, and it's going to be like, wear me, wear me, wear me. And it's going to like push me to feel better, to get my butt out in the streets wearing Gucci. That's my thoughts. And so due to all this, I'll be out of work for 6 weeks. At least, hopefully I'll be back in the 6 weeks. What's so bad is work has been so busy. I'm like, is it horrible that I'm ready to just take a break from work, even if it means being on surgery leave? It probably is. But I bought a few books that I'm planning to read. I like to crochet, so I can definitely do that in bed. I have a few shows ready to binge watch. I'm planning to buy myself like a little breakfast tray for my bed, and hopefully be able to do my nails in bed sometimes. My son will be back from college by the time I get back. And so that will be nice. I'll have some company at home. My older son likes to cook. He's already promised to make me some low fiber food. So I'm like, I'm gonna hold you to it. Um, but I'm nervous. But I need to tell you guys what happened at church. This was crazy to me. So I go to a women's Bible study on Tuesdays. I haven't really told a lot of people in church what's going on. So I went in one day to Bible study, and this lady came up to me and she was like, I feel like you came here for prayers tonight. And I was like, no, I just came for Bible study. And she was like, well, can I pray for you? And I was like, yeah, of course. So she got some oil. All the ladies from Bible study came around. They put oil all over me. And then they were praying over me. There was probably like 10 women. And this lady was basically like, I pray, God, that whatever is spreading in her body, you'll stop its spread, you'll cure it, and you will stop its growth. And she was just like, I pray that what's invading her body, God, you will heal. And I was kind of freaking out because I'm like, these people don't know what's wrong with me. And so everybody prayed, and then she was like, God told me to tell you that your intestines are going to be okay. And I was like, so then I was like in more level of freak out. And like I looked at her and I was like, I have to have part of my colon taken out. And a few other ladies were like freaking out too. And so she was like, well, God told me to tell you that your intestines are going to be okay. And we prayed for whatever's growing in your body to be healed. And I was like, thank you. So I came home and I was like, it gave me anxiety a little bit because I'm like, these people like literally know nothing. So I was talking to my sister about it and she was like, God is talking to you. And I was like, you're right. He probably is. And he's telling me, you're going to be okay, girl. I got you. And so that does give me some comfort for sure. I have been praying a lot. I hate that this has had to make me a strong person because usually I'm a weenie and I like being a weenie. You know, but this has definitely made me less squeamish, a stronger person. I hate IVs. I hate hospitals. I hate taking new medications. Like, I get a lot of anxiety around taking new medications because I'm like, what if I have an allergic reaction and die to this? When I have a CT scan and they have to put dye in it, I'm like, oh my God, what if this makes me die? And then I have to just push that out of the way. You know, I'm like, well, if you're going to die, you'll be in the hospital and they can probably bring you back. And so, you know, it's brought me to a new level for myself personally. It's definitely brought me closer to God on a different level. When I was sick in the hospital with my abscess, so I told you guys I've had anxiety on and off for 12 years, 10 years, 12 years. It's been a while. My cousin died of AIDS 12 years ago. And when he passed, like it really just made me realize how little control I have over my life. And I'm like, literally, I could die, my kids could die, anybody could die at any day. Like I have no control over it. Who knows when it will happen? And I fixated on that for years. And I would be like, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna leave my kids. Oh my God, what if I die and I leave my kids? What if my kids die? And when I was in the hospital, probably the closest to death I have literally ever been, I had no anxiety. Like I can't even explain it except for that it had to be God. And I had to be alone because of COVID. Like my husband could not be there, my parents could not be there, my kids could not be there, my friends could not be there. People would call me on the phone and, you know, help me pass the day. I remember the nurses coming in and like the looks on their faces were like worried for me when they would take my vital signs and stuff like that. They would just be like, you know, kind of shake their heads. They would beg me to eat because I wasn't hungry. They would beg me to drink, but I was so nauseous I didn't want to. And they would just be like, you have to do this. And this whole time, like, yes, I had moments of like anxiety, but I feel like it was like normal people anxiety. Like if you all have an anxiety disorder, you know what I'm talking about. And like the only thing and person that I can give credit to for being able to have peace in that situation is God. Like I was just like, I've literally feared this day and this moment in my life for the last 10 years, and here it is, and I'm okay. Like I'm okay. I'm not scared. And I can't explain it. And now I go to CT scans by myself. Before I would make my husband take me because I'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm scared. I go by myself, no problem, in and out. To me, it's almost like giving blood. Like I do them so often, it's just like, eh. I need like a punch card. Like every 5 CT scans, you get a free milkshake or something. Like, you know, I was teasing my sister that every time I go to the doctor, like 5 or 6 students, they're students, and they're like, "Can the students come in?" Because I have like a rare case for this, for this area. And I'm like, yeah, I guess everybody needs to learn. So like 4 or 5 people that look like they're 12 come in the room, and like I told my sister, more people have probably seen my vag than like who knows. Like another thing, I could get a punch pass for that. Like 10 people have seen your vag, you get a free ice cream cone. Um, it's it's so weird how like things that you worried about before kind of don't matter anymore. I'm a vain person. I'll completely admit to that. And I have like 5 whole scars in my stomach from my first surgery. And I was like, I wonder if they're gonna use the same holes or what are they gonna do? And my doctor, not my surgeon, but my regular OB doctor, was like, I think you should just tell him to cut you wherever he needs to cut you. Like, you need the best angles so that this can be done laparoscopically. And he's like, because if they have to cut your whole stomach open, that's not gonna be the best recovery. And he was like, are you concerned about that? And I was like, a little bit, but then it's just like, well, I look like I've been shot, but okay. I'll go with it. Like at the end of the day, small things don't matter. And like when they say health is wealth, like that's the truth. Health is wealth. Um, if you don't have your health, it's hard. And honestly, I'm like completely blessed and lucky. I had a physical at work last week, and the lady was like, wow, for your age, like you don't have prediabetes, you aren't diabetic, you don't have high blood pressure, you don't have high cholesterol. Like your numbers are as good as like some 20-year-olds. And I was like, woo woo. And then she's like, I'm sorry, all this other stuff is going on. And I was like, honestly, I said, I really am blessed that I don't have anything to complicate what's already happening. And I thank God for that. Like, I'm not a diabetic. I don't have other issues like compounding on the issues I have. Um, and so I really am blessed, and I do thank God for that every single day. And when I had my colonoscopy, the lady that did my anesthesia, her too, she was like asking me all these questions, and I was like, no, 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 no. She was like, oh my gosh, your blood pressure is amazing. And I was like, high five. And then she was like, you're such a healthy woman. And I was like, oh, thank you. And then after I woke up from my anesthesia, she came in and she was like, that was so insensitive of me. I had no idea what you were here for. I'm sorry. And I was like, huh? And she was like, I didn't realize you had health problems, and it was just very insensitive of me. I'm sorry. And I was like, oh no, no. I said, I'm completely happy. I'm blessed. Like I have amazing health besides this health issue. Like I am blessed. And I said, do not feel bad at all. I said, like the stuff you told me, I said, like made me feel good, because it's like I work very hard to try and stay positive. You have to. When you have no choice but to sometimes look at the bright side, like you have to. And I feel like part of healing is attitude. And I mean, I have my moments, don't even get me wrong. There's days I lay in bed and I cry and I'm like, why God? Why me? But you can't stay stuck there. That's the thing. So I pray every day for God to like not leave me stuck and to show me the bright side and the positive side, and to just give me the best mindset that I can have. But I thought I would share this with you all, like I said, because like a lot of people have reached out to me over this. And like I say, if sharing something can help someone else and like help someone feel less alone, or I'm able to just kind of talk to somebody, like when people reach out to me and we're able to like share things about anxiety or this or endometriosis or whatever, it helps me too. And so I just thought I would put it out here, what I'm going through. Let you guys know I'm gonna be a little bit of a break. Hopefully I'll be back sooner rather than later. I just ask you guys for your prayers and good vibes. And I will be back soon, hopefully. So that's it for this video, you guys. If you hung in here for my 30 minutes of non-polish related talk, I appreciate it. And that's it. I will see you all in the next video. I'm hoping to pre-record some videos, put up a few things here and there. Hopefully while I'm recovering, editing a video might be a nice activity for me while I'm laying in bed. And so keep an eye out for those. And that's it. I hope y'all are having an amazing evening, and I will see y'all in the next video. Bye.